Hey guys, so I'm going to do my very first Q&A. Now before I start, I want to apologize for where this live art, why do I keep saying live art? Because I'm retarded, where this um, real-time art started off. I accidentally deleted some footage of the video. I don't know why. I'm just a blockhead, I guess. And yeah, but I guess it doesn't matter too much because you guys have seen me do the outer space look before. And if you're new to this channel and you haven't, then I'll probably link a video where I do a similar look at the very end, so you can check that out. It's going to be in the random art section. But anyway, let me get on to the questions. And just a heads up, if you hear some squeaking, it's probably the guinea pigs in the background. So hopefully you don't hear it, but just ignore it. Okay, so first question I got, I think, was from Melissa Smith, and she asked, who are some of your favorite artists? To be really honest, I don't follow many artists because I'm really bad at that. But I'll still share some of my favorite artists that I have. Some of them on YouTube because I actually admire some artists on YouTube, and some of them in real life. I'm gonna start with the ones not in real life, but not on YouTube. I'm gonna start with the more famous ones. One of them being Akinde Wiley, and I don't really have a favorite, but he's one of my favorites because I like the scale of drawings that he does, and I like that he incorporates African Americans into artwork that is kind of Eurocentric inspired. So it's like he takes famous paintings of famous European paintings, and he puts it in his own style. And I really appreciate how it looks because you'll just have to see the work. It's just amazing. Another artist that I like a lot is some of these artists I like that aren't necessarily painters. I used to read a lot. I don't read as much as I used to because when I read, I take out a lot of time to read. But when I used to read a lot, some of my favorite novelists were Toni Morrison. She's my favorite. Now she's really my favorite author out of all the authors or all the books I've read because the way she writes is she writes literary, so it's not like the commercial books like Twilight and all that. Like her work, you really have to have a sense of writing, the art of writing, to understand her stories, if that makes any sense. And I really love it. And one of my favorite stories of hers is Beloved. That is my favorite story of like all time. And I love her story, The Bluest Eye. And yeah, she's just an amazing author. And I want to read more of her stories. Also, I like Stephen King because I think he's so creative when it comes to the horror genre. And when I was younger, I was really crazy about horror movies and all that, horror genre and all that. And I just really loved it. So those are my favorite. And it was another artist. Look, I'm terrible with names. That doesn't mean I don't like the art, but I'm really bad at names. But it was another artist who I really like, where she does these depictions of almost like antebellum South theme pieces. Let me look up her name and I'll tell y'all when I get back with it. All right, honestly, I can't find it. I don't feel like looking for it either. But anyway, yeah, she's a really good artist. She does mostly silhouette art, so you only see black, and so it's like just a silhouette of what she's trying to depict, and it's just amazing, her work. You just have to see it. I mean, as far as artists go, that's about it. Well, there's more, but I'm not going to get on to that. And then there's the people on YouTube, the people that I follow or subscribe to on YouTube. I only subscribe to a few artists on YouTube, but I love them all. And one of them is on here. Her name is Semi Skinned Minnie. I like her art. It's very simple. She has a simple style, but sometimes I really do appreciate simplicity because simplicity can be very beautiful. And yeah, she's a really good artist. Y'all can check her out if she want. Her art style is different from mine, of course. Everybody's art style is different. I wouldn't even necessarily say it's similar to mine. It's just different. And to be really honest, there's another person I just subscribed to. I kind of like her art. And her name is, and it's funny because she subscribed to me first, and sometimes I look at what you guys post. So I went to her channel and I saw she was an artist too. Her name is Kiara Studio. I really like her art. It's really nice. And I like Bailey J, but she does a lot more fan art. I like fan art, but I'm not the biggest fan of fan art because I like more original ideas, and I feel like she's not as adventurous with her original art ideas. And last but definitely not least, one of the first artists I subscribed to. Well, there's another one, but she doesn't post very frequently, and her stuff is starting to look kind of the same. But the last person I subscribed to, if I can only find the damn name, but she does a lot of watercolor, and it's very beautiful watercolor. It is more in a realistic style, and I like realism, but only to a certain extent. But the way she executed with the watercolor, it's like, yeah, I can't get mad at it because it's just really nice, and I really appreciate watercolor. Her name is Kelly Eddington Watercolor. So yeah, she has some really nice art. But anyway, that's it for that. 7 minutes already. Damn. Well, this is gonna be long anyway. Okay, the other question is, what is your favorite song in this year so far? I don't even know how to answer that. I listen to a lot of music, and I don't really know what my favorite song is, but I'll say one of the songs I've been appreciating a lot recently is a song called by J. Cole called Love Yours. And I really appreciate that song because the song it's pretty obvious what the song is about. And it's basically just appreciating and loving what you have, even when you feel like you're not to the best potential that you can be. Or say if you're not rich and you want to be rich and you're poor, or you're just dealing with situations you don't like that much. But the song is basically saying to appreciate what you have because there's always someone with a worse situation. So always love what you have going on for you, if that makes any sense. But anyway, next question. The last question is by the same person, Melissa Smith, and this one is by the same person. The last question of hers is, what's my favorite ice cream? Now, this is a complicated question. It might not seem that way, but because I'm vegan, it changes things up a little bit. One of my favorite ice creams before I went vegan was strawberry cheesecake, and I just love that ice cream. And I'm the type of person, I like ice creams that aren't necessarily the most popular. So that's one of my favorite. And Snickers was one of my favorite. Now that I'm vegan, they might have these ice creams, but I don't buy them. So my favorite thing to do to substitute for that is to take cashew ice cream, which is by Simply Delicious. No, So Delicious, my bad. So Delicious makes vegan ice creams and vegan dairy products. And they have a cashew ice cream, just regular vanilla cashew, and it's so delicious and it's so creamy. And if you love cashews, you will love this ice cream. It's really sweet too. So if you really like sweet stuff, it's even better. And it's a little too sweet for me, but I still eat it anyway because it's good. And I put in peanut butter and I put chocolate or cocoa powder, and it makes it like Snickers ice cream. I have yet to try to replicate strawberry cheesecake because that would take much more and it'll cost a lot because vegan substitutes aren't very popular. Since most of the population is not vegan, they have to basically make the price more for these things. That's why a lot of people think veganism is expensive. Veganism isn't expensive, just the products that they sell that are specifically vegan as substitutions, like meat substitutions. Those can be more expensive because the demand is so low. So They have to make it more expensive so they can, keep their business going, even though it is cheaper to make these things versus the non-vegan version. But that's a whole nother discussion. So if I were to do strawberry cheesecake ice cream, I had to get strawberries, and I had to get vegan cream cheese, and I had to get graham crackers and vegan butter. And that's just too much. I'm too lazy for all of that. So I don't even do that. And another thing I like to do is I like to take frozen bananas and blend it up until it gets smooth, and it literally, I can't talk, y'all. I swear, literally becomes the consistency of soft serve ice cream. And I might add random things into it. Like sometimes I might blend in strawberries, or I might blend in mangoes, or I'll blend in peanut butter and chocolate to make Snickers tasting ice cream. Another thing I did the other day was I put dates in it with peanut butter and chocolate. And dates, if you don't know what that is, it's like it's a really, really, really sweet fruit. And I only get them dry because it's almost impossible to get them fresh here in America. Unless you live in California, which I don't live, unfortunately. But that's the goal. That's the mission. Anyway, and I blended in the dates with the chocolate and peanut butter, and it was like so good. It was almost like the dates were like caramel. But anyway, let's go on to the next question. This is by Cedrica. I think that's said that right. Tell me if I got it wrong. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. She said, how did you become so good at art, and what advice would you have for aspiring artists? Okay, this question is actually a long question to answer, but I'm going to try to answer it the best way I can possible. I think being a good artist, for one, I'll say I am a good artist, but I don't feel like I'm as good as I can be, but I'm getting better. But let me answer the question. I think being a good artist is like, let's say 50% talent. No. I'll say 60. 60% talent and 40% hard work, and dedication. The reason why I say this is because there are many artists who are basically the artistic ability. I think it is a gene because people in my family are artistic down the line. Even my parents, both of my parents are artistic. Everyone in my immediate family is basically artistic. I'm just the only one who uses it the most. My uncle is artistic and yada yada. So it is a gene that is passed down. But along with that, you have to work towards that gene. You have to work towards becoming a better artist, because it's not just all about what you have. It's not all about your talent. You have to work towards it. If you don't, then you're just going to be a good artist. You're not going to become the best you can be, if that makes any sense. And the way that I was able to hone my skills or continue to grow my skills is I took art all throughout grade school. And I think this is very important. And I did art on the side at home a lot. I was always drawing. I liked to paint a lot when I was younger, and I took this more seriously. I always wanted to be an artist. Even if I had a regular job, I wanted to be an artist on the side. So I took it very seriously. And in middle school, when I was in sixth grade, I took an art class. It was a 3D art class, but it was still an art class. Any art is good. Even if it's not in what you're going to do or what you're mainly going to do, it's still really good because you can learn a lot of things from different sides of art. But anyway, I took a 3D art class in sixth grade, and I took an art class in my eighth grade. For y'all who are like, what the hell is eighth grade? Well, it was around the age when I was like 10 to 11. And I started school early, so I'm younger than normal. So 10 to 11. And then from 12 to 13 is when I took art. And then I went to high school, and I took art all throughout high school. And I took a lot of art. And not only did I take a lot of art in high school, I also did art on the side. So I think it's very important that if you have art classes in school, take as many as you can, because the more you take, the more you will have, the quicker you can advance. Because I felt like once I was in college, I felt like I was ahead of my colleagues in the art department, because I had taken so many art classes in high school while they didn't, because they didn't necessarily have those classes. And even if you don't have those classes, still do art on the side, because I did art on the side too. I didn't just rely on school to do art. I was constantly creating new things. I had a sketchbook. I drew on those. Get a sketchbook. I drew in a sketchbook. I had luckily I was fortunate enough for my dad to buy the Adobe Suite. It's called Creative Cloud now, but at the time it was just the Creative Suite. And I played with Photoshop. I messed around with Illustrator once I learned how to do it, and I'll talk about that later. I painted on the side. I drew on the side. I did all these things, and all of these things will help you to become a better artist. And throughout high school, I took, I think it was 8. I took 8 art classes. Sounds a lot. It is a lot, but it was great. I took Art 1, Art 2, Art 3, Art 4, and then I took 3 and 4 twice because I took honor. They have honors and regular, so I just took the opposite of whatever one I took the previous time again. And then I took Computer Art Animation 1 and Computer Art Animation 2. And I'm very grateful that I took these classes because I learned a lot about art. Not only did I learn a lot about art, I also learned a lot, or a good amount, about computer art. I learned how to use Photoshop. I feel like I could do anything I want in Photoshop. And if I don't know how to do it, I can easily research it and it would be done really quickly. I also learned how to use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, which is great. I mean, those 2 skills alone would take you far because that's like very high in demand, especially when people want logos and photo manipulation. I mean, you can get a lot of jobs just by knowing those 2 things. I also learned how to use InDesign, which is a place to set up flyers and books and etc. And I also learned how to use what is it called? I learned a little bit of Muse, but that was on my own. I don't know it that well, but I try. And as y'all, well, you don't know, but I use Premiere Pro, which is a better. I think there's no I think it is. It's better than iMovie because it has a little more features than the other ones that you can get for free. I mean, if you could get iMovie, I mean that's great, but the fact that I know more professional video editing software, it's better that way. And I know how to use a little bit of After Effects. So being good at art is part taking classes. You know, you got to take the classes, as many classes you can. Learn as much as you can regarding art. Don't just get better at art. It really helps to actually learn the boring stuff in art. And when I say the boring stuff, I mean understanding what split complementary means, understanding color scheme, triads, mixing colors. Some people don't even know how to mix certain colors. So mixing colors is another one. Learning different textures, watercolor, different paper weights like 90 pound, 140 pound, stuff like that. Understanding so many different things, glazing, all these things. Just learn the boring stuff, the exciting stuff, practice every day, draw every day, and you'll get better at art. Okay, last thing I'm gonna address. This wasn't really a question, but somebody said, I can't find the comment or the name of the person who commented, but I'm gonna just say what they said. They said something about they were afraid to take commissions for portraits or whatever. And I just want to tell y'all what I do. First of all, in pricing, I think they had an issue with pricing. First and foremost, I charge 50 cents per square inch. That's just how I do. So, for instance, if you want like a 30 by 40, which is huge, that'd be like $600. Plus, I charge shipping. Now, if I were to ship that, I don't even think I can, but if I were to ship that, I might add another $100, so that'd be like $700 for that. And then for the smaller ones, say I'm doing from biggest to smallest. And for instance, for the smaller one, I charge $45 plus shipping. And shipping varies depending on where you live, and even within the United States, which is where I live. But if I would charge for shipping for that, it's like $5. So depending on where you live, $5. So it'll become like $50. So that's how much I charge, number one. Number two, I use SquareUp because I think they had an issue with charging people how to charge. I use SquareUp, and this is really good because you can send invoices, and they only charge a small percentage, like 2 point whatever. So I send an invoice through that. And lastly, fuck. Oh yeah, and they are also afraid of somebody not. I think, well, it could have been somebody else. Anyway, the whole thing about them not paying you, you can easily fix that. But this is what I usually do. I charge half of the entire price, and this is like a security deposit. So even if I finish the painting and they don't pay me back, or they say, "Oh, I can't pay you," then that's basically paying for my time, and I keep your painting, even though I don't necessarily want the painting. No, just to let somebody know, in case you're skeptical about buying a portrait, most artists don't want people's personal portraits because most people aren't going to buy portraits of somebody else. And this is, it's kind of obvious. I mean, unless they're famous, I mean, you're not going to want someone's grandma. Honest, just being honest with yourself. You're not going to want to buy a painting of someone's grandma. Yeah, you might think, oh my God, that's so beautiful, but are you really going to buy that unless I'm dead and it's worth a whole bunch of money? No, you're not going to buy it. So for anybody who's skeptical, just trust me, most of us don't want your portrait. Number one. And number two, always, always, always expect to pay somebody for doing art. Never assume that we just whip out a piece of work and it's done. This stuff takes a lot of time. You guys don't realize how much time it takes to do one painting. It's a lot of work. So never underestimate that. And yeah, so I hope that helped you out. So use a SquareUp is a good one for invoicing. Ask for half, and what was the other one? 50 cents per square inch. You can go lower if you want. You can do 25, but I think 50 cents is a good base. And if you want, if somebody wants like something large, you can charge less. I don't, because that's a lot of paint. But if you want to, go ahead. All right, guys, I'm going to end it right here. This is getting long, so I hope you like this live. If I say live one more fucking time, I hope y'all like this real-time painting. Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for One Day Portrait. Everybody's favorite. Actually, I lied. I don't think tomorrow's going to be One Day Portrait. Tomorrow's going to be a surprise. You'll see. All right, guys. Peace.